After 2 years, 8 months in theater, everything just stops. The comms cracked again, all Terran and Galactic forces fall back to your lines and stand down. A peace accord is now in place. Peace. The knock on the door drew me from the moment. 3 more knocks. Come in, Sergeant Wyatt.
Yes, sir.
Sit down, Wyatt. Whiskey?
Yes, please, sir.
Thomas. Just Thomas, Wyatt. The war is over. I'm tired. When it is just between us, just Thomas.
Yes, Sir Thomas. So you heard. Peace.
I handed him a glass of whiskey with a splash of water. We looked into each other's eyes. Cheers. We drank, we laughed.
So now what, sir? Sorry. Thomas.
Just like yesterday, I guess. We wait for orders to come down.
Yes, sir. Command does have the ability to foobar up the best of intentions.
We laughed again, harder this time.
Thomas, call me Bill.
Our eyes met, smiling, praying like all soldiers that the sacrifice is over. Bill, or Master Sergeant Wyatt, has been with me for the past 18 months since our destinies merged. So here we were, soldiers that were at war moments ago and now at peace, because the politicians finally found enough reason to stop. Bill, get a hold of command and inform them we will not have our teams out of the field for at least 4 days. They are in deep cover and have no comms on them. It may be longer if we have to do search and rescue.
Sure thing, Thomas.
As Bill contacted command, I reached out to Commander Zyler of the United Galactic Forces. I wanted to offer my congratulations for our success and condolences on his unit losses. They also were working on recovering assets. Unlike Terran forces, the Galactic forces were made up of several species with different talents and needs. The United Galactic Forces left the planet 4 days after peace was announced. It was a total surprise. Earth, or Terra, as many aliens called our home, was not a member of the Galactic Alliance. We were allies. We had declined membership as we had no need for their resources or protection. We trained and went on missions together. Officers met to discuss strategy and personnel placement based on mission success. But as far as outside of mission obligations, which they fulfilled beyond our expectations, there was no communal contact between the Galactic and Terran forces. As their final transport rose from the planet, I determined I would follow to wherever the path led to find my peace. Hopefully shared. First Sergeant Wyatt and I walked down the hall to the barracks. Of the 50 Rangers that had volunteered, 32 had fallen. By the end of the week, all 18 Terran Rangers, the first sergeant, and now Lieutenant Colonel Decker stood in the barracks. As I stood there before the Rangers that had sacrificed so much, my heart pounded against my chest, feeling the leather medicine bag that hung around my neck. I took a deep breath and began to speak. My brothers, it has been an honor serving with you. Let us hope the peace they have found is strong. I pray you find peace in your soul for what we have done. It was an honorable task, and you fulfilled it well. We hugged, cried, and lingered knowing that this life had ended. Every one of us knew we were at peace. Now we had to find it. I accepted the promotion to Lieutenant Colonel once actions ceased. I had not planned on it, but I had become an old man in a young man's game. Bill laughed at me as he pinned a rank on my collar, so I promoted him to first sergeant just so he would have to sew on new stripes. I tried to dismiss him, but he was assigned to me specifically and is now my attaché. I guess every lieutenant colonel needs one. I stepped in to find Bill sitting on a cot in the open barracks.
So, what's next on the list, sir?
Once we finished the paperwork, I think it is time I took some leave and find my peace. He looked me straight in the eyes and said,
You are going after Tess.
Is it that obvious?
Not at all, Thomas. Just every time you look into the sky, 100 times a day.
Suggestions, First Sergeant?
Well, sir, between us we have enough brass, stripes, and ribbons to get attention through official channels. I feel we should take these honors and see what true value they hold. And, sir, I was not watching you. I watched both of you. There are sparks there, sir.
As you command, First Sergeant. As we sat back on the transport to Mars Station, I faded into a thoughtful sleep about how I had gotten here and so far from home. Upon my graduation from the academy, I went to Ranger School Special Forces Tactical School, and Ranger Command School. I was a First Lieutenant Terran Ranger Special Forces team leader. I worked under Master Sergeant Tecumseh since I was his commanding officer as a fresh First Lieutenant just out of school and training. His only question to me was, "What First Lieutenant do you want to learn?" I stood there while he stood in front of me, presenting a crisp salute. I returned his salute, and as my hand reached my pants seam, I gave my answer. "Wisdom, Master Sergeant Wisdom." He answered, "Yes, sir," with the first smile I ever saw on his face. I was his commanding officer, but wisdom is listening to a Master Sergeant who had been in service for 28 years. As long as I kept my mouth shut and ears open, he would teach me. I found out quickly it was best to give Master Sergeant Tecumseh orders as they came from command and leave the rest to his interpretation. I became a captain, but more important, under Master Sergeant Tecumseh, I learned how to be a leader. We worked in teams of 10. We were the Terran Forces' elite termination team. Command valued the intelligence recovered by our deep cover team so much. They had the presence of mind to promote me to a command position and remove me from my field command, totally destroying the asset they were awarding me for creating. I turned the promotion down, again, explaining their oversight. That must have made me friends. Instead, they tasked me with creating an elite combined species deep penetration team. This mission was different and required a change in strategy. As I sat in my new office on Federation Mars base, a clerk walked in delivering the files of the 200 top candidates and the 10 best picks for my first sergeant. I was feeling lost in the task ahead of me and decided to go for a walk. I needed to clean my head and found myself on the path I walked many times with Master Sergeant T, and then all of a sudden, there he was. He was sitting with his face to the sunset. I stood there, just watching. After a few minutes, he said to me,
"May I be of service, Lieutenant Colonel?"
I just needed to clear my head and get out of the office, Master Sergeant.
"You are looking for vision."
I wish I had one.
"Sit, sir."
I did. As I looked over the valley, my heart slowed. I began to place the sounds I heard with the vision before me. It was beautiful.
"Now close your eyes. Can you take what you have heard, felt, and seen, and see it in your soul?"
For a moment, I could see it all. Then, I was startled. I looked over at Master Sergeant T, who was now smiling.
"Colonel, it is time we started heading back."
And to my surprise, the sun was setting. As we stood, dusk was upon us.
"Look again, Colonel, and tell me what you see."
I looked out into the valley, now being wrapped in darkness, and said, "Everything." He smiled.
"Your answers will come, sir. Find clarity, and you will see."
On the walk back to base, Master Sergeant T informed me he was retiring. I told him I was grateful for his guidance and told him what I was being asked to do. He stopped, looked at me.
"You must find your right hand, the person that can carry your orders, and be there to see them through, and be there if you might fall. You too must bind these rangers to protect and sacrifice for missions to succeed."
Master Sergeant, please explain.
"Son, we have taught you to kill in the most effective way. Your Terran Rangers will have to deliver and retrieve their partners, who will need absolute stealth and deep penetration skills to be successful. You will turn Rangers into protectors. A noble mission, Colonel."
Master Sergeant, I have one more question. Who would you pick to be my first sergeant?
"Sergeant Wyatt."
Why? Who is Sergeant Wyatt?
"Why did you ask me the question, Colonel?"
For your wisdom. Oh. Thank you, Chief. Sorry, Master Sergeant.
"May I?" "Sir."
I bowed, and he placed the pouch around my neck.
"This is for my people. It will protect your soul from the scars of battle. I have no one in my line to give it to. It would honor me if you would carry it forward."
It would be my honor, Chief.
You are now a war leader protecting life. You and those under your command. We cannot protect what walks upon the ground, but it is the soul that needs preserved so those at rest can be at peace. My people will be with you. When you are calm, wisdom will come to preserve the souls entrusted to you, my son."
What started as a handshake turned into an embrace. Then we parted. I hope our paths cross again. That is how I found Sergeant Wyatt. That is when I found a person that would walk with me through hell and back. And we have. Along our path, we had become brothers. Now, with peace, we will have the opportunity to be friends. Now my next and last mission. Find Tess. The landing announcement came from overhead. I sat up in my seat. Why didn't you wake me up?
You talk in your sleep.
Really?
No, sir. Let's go get Tess.
After a few days of adjusting to Mars gravity, First Sergeant Wyatt and I had to go through and processing, complete physical and emotional evaluations. With the end of the war, things were moving too quickly, causing log jams everywhere. It took us a week to get set up in offices on Mars base. Bill and I had a ton of paperwork to complete this job, and to be honest, I needed some time to figure out what the past 18 months meant. Was the sacrifice worth it? Documenting everything we had done and learned in case these skills were ever needed again. The selection process of the Terran team members. The personnel files of those both living and deceased. The training standards we started with, and how they evolved as we learned from mission reports. We were finishing up as we started our second month on station. Bill told me more than once to stay focused on the task. Finish it and walk away. I was battling the AI interface when the call came. I looked at the caller ID as I activated accept. Admiral Wonderland, how may I be of service, ma'am?
Congratulations on your promotion, Decker.
Thank you, ma'am.
Decker, I want you to be in my office in 3 days at 0900. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Glad you made it, Decker. We'll talk in a few days.
The call ended.
Mars to Decker. Mars to Decker. Come in.
As Bill broke my focus, he handed me a fresh cup of real Earth coffee.
Thomas, what's up?
We're going to be standing in front of Admiral Wonderland at Earth Command in 3 days. You had better get those new stripes on. I looked down at the alert on my comm. We received tickets for the next trans jump to Earth in 10 hours.
And here we go, sir.
3 days later, First Sergeant Wyatt and Lieutenant Colonel Decker stood at attention in front of Admiral Wonderland's desk.
Gentlemen, have a seat. Lieutenant Colonel, what are your future intentions?
My mission ended with the war, ma'am. I have some personal affairs I need to explore.
First Sergeant Wyatt, we have never met.
No, ma'am.
You still have some time on your enlistment. What are your intentions?
Honestly, ma'am, I have my hardship paperwork completed and submitted. I'm just waiting for some product transfers to arrive to confirm authorization. Figured I would follow the LC and keep him out of trouble, and on course till he finds his answers or shoots me.
Thomas, I like him.
He's like having a mother and private supply line all in one, ma'am.
Well, gentlemen, let's get down to it. Thomas, your mission is not complete. Wyatt, you are going to have to put a stay on your hardship. Thomas, you put together a combined task force that saved lives on a planetary scale. Terran forces took 32 casualties while the Galactic forces took 7. Your Ranger's sacrifice has been noted by the Galactic Council along with success beyond anyone's projection. Apparently, Admiral Zyler's presentation to the Council highlighted the losses of Terran forces in protecting their personnel and making sure the information they carried got back. They are going to bestow upon you the title of Galactic Protector.
What is that, ma'am?
Hell, Thomas, I have no clue, but gentlemen, I'm sorry to tell you that you have survived war only to be thrown to the wolves of politics.
As the Admiral talked, she rose and started walking to the corner of the room. We got up and followed. As she finished, she started pouring 3 whiskeys with a splash of water, handed us each a glass. We raised our drinks in salute.
To the fallen.
To the fallen.
To the fallen.
Thomas, use this honor to find Lieutenant Tessel. How is the Galactic Council going to deny a decorated Galactic Protector?
Ma'am, how do you know about Lieutenant Tessel?
I read your reports.
Is it that obvious?
Yes, Thomas, it is. Sergeant Wyatt, what about your hardship case?
What hardship case, ma'am?
I like you, Wyatt. I expect regular updates and want immediate notification when this assignment is complete.
Yes, ma'am.
Wyatt, if you mess this up, I will commission your ass as a butter bar.
Ma'am, your inspirational words inspire me.
Gentlemen, take the next 10 days and get your affairs in order. I have been informed the Federation is going to pin medals on both of you before sending you off to the Galactic Council. My office will arrange your schedule and send it to you both. Dismissed.
As First Sergeant Wyatt and I walked down the hall, our communicators sounded. I got our travel tickets to Galactic Council headquarters and our itinerary. Bill looked through me.
I just got command-level communications authorization.
Our next 10 days of relaxation turned out to be Galactic Prep 101. New dress uniforms for both of us and casual clothes that looked very similar to diplomatic dress. We had a formal ceremony awarding us both Distinguished Service Crosses with citation. By the time we got on the transport to start our journey to galactic space, we felt like walking Terran military recruitment posters. It had been 3 months since peace was declared. I was taking my first step toward mine. Bill walked in with a grin on his face.
I've secured a ride on a Federation materials transport. Who knew they liked the idea of having a couple of Rangers on board? We leave in the morning, and we will be there in 3 days. Figure we could do some recon.
Thank you, Mr. Bill. Material transport ships can jump longer and twice a day. Military personnel at our level are certified for quick deployments. As I settled into the transport for the 3-day journey, I would finally have some time to clear my mind and meditate. I need to find my center, my strength, my focus. I needed to listen to my soul. I had already reached out to Admiral Zyler, congratulating him on his promotion. It was well deserved. I told him I wanted to have some private time to catch up since we talked last. He is my first hope for direction and guidance. After departure, we settled into the transport. I lay back on the web seating, my head on my duffel, closing my eyes to meditate. I focused on the sound and feel of the ship. Each has its own personality, its own vibration, voice, soul. I've always found it soothing to sink my body to the ship. I was deep in meditation when Bill's voice broke my trance.
Coffee's up, sir, and a nutrition bar before we jump. It's good to have something in your stomach.
You'll make a good wife someday.
I'm not sure where life will take me. I've been in warrior mode for so long, living minute by minute. I don't know how to think in days, weeks, or months. To know the person next to me won't be taken away in tomorrow's battle. Thomas, this assignment has been different. After we refined the strategies and selected personnel, we had a well-oiled machine, but I had superiors treating me like my subordinates. If you were not around, they would look to me for direction and take it without question. That was a heavy burden to carry. I am just glad it is over. It took a toll. We lost a lot of good people. Question, sir?
Ask.
I have heard all the scuttlebutt. How did you meet Tess?
The first time I met Tess, I was evaluating a modified retrieval tactic. It had been recommended that once the asset returns to the evac team, they be escorted back to base by 2 team members while the rest of the team provide cover. This would allow the team to confront any pursuit without any further risk of the asset. I went because it was supposed to be a low-risk operation. We did not expect detection. Everything was going as planned. Both members returned from their mission to the team. A galactic specialist and I were extracting the asset. We were about half a click from the evac team when we heard all hell break loose. I signaled the asset and galactic specialist to move out. I laid back to cover. I hadn't moved far when I heard someone moving quickly in my direction. I fell back into cover, saw movement, then quiet. I reached up and snapped a branch exposing my cover and stood up. The galactic specialist came into view. I waved her over and we went back into cover. We stayed there for 20 minutes, silence. I motioned we were moving out and started to work our way out when she grabbed my arm and motioned she would take lead. I yielded. We went back and scouted the evac team area. We found 3 enemy casualties, collected intel, then set a sterilization charge. After we got a couple clicks away, we scouted the area to make sure we were clear and set off our retrieval beacons. A scout craft picked us up 15 minutes later. As the galactic specialist entered the transport ahead of me, I saw it on the back of her cover in stencil. L.T. Tess. We sat there for the trip back in silence. Mission reports showed the modified extraction methodology was successful and would be implemented on all future missions. The encounter was an enemy patrol that wandered into the perimeter of the evac team. They could not move without detection, so they just lay low and unloaded on the patrol. The enemy patrol retreated immediately, firing in a spray and pray pattern. They suffered 3 casualties. Wounded unknown. All Terran and Galactic specialists returned unharmed. And that was the first time I encountered Tess. It was just another mission.
Well, after that mission, whenever I looked to find you on the field, she always had your 6. I was always relieved when she was in rotation with us, unless she was the asset.
I didn't realize it first, but I could feel her there. It felt like we were dancing. Until we weren't. Bill, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anyone. When Tess was hit, I felt it. Every blow. Her pain, her fear, and I knew exactly where she was. That's what was going through my head when I lit out. I had to get to her and quick.
Sir, Sergeant, we have reached our first jump point. Please get strapped in for the FTL jump. The captain is ready.
As we strapped in, Bill looked at me and said,
To be continued.
The rest of the day was spent completing 2 FTL jumps and dropping supplies at a couple of outposts along the way. Working with the load crew gave us quite a workout. The burn felt good. By evening, we were on autopilot heading to the next jump point. Between the fatigue of 2 jumps and the physical labor, we slept soundly. Day 2 was much like the first. After Bill and I had breakfast, we sat down with a couple cups of coffee, and I continued telling my tale. She was exactly where I knew she would be, laying tucked in the undergrowth. She was so well concealed, I almost tripped over her. She was unconscious and bleeding. As soon as I touched her, I knew she was in real trouble. I could feel it. I hit her with a nanite injection and used biofoam on the worst of the wounds to stop or slow the bleeding. I did not have to look for the wounds. I already knew where they were and how serious each was. I picked her up in my arms and started working my way for the nearest extraction point, then hit my extraction beacon for a stat removal. The medic on the transport got an IV started and started doing true triage. I never left her side. I sat there holding her hand during transport. When we arrived back at base, I carried her into the field hospital. They got the monitors connected. She was critical. As they were prepping her for surgery, I let go of her hand and stepped back. As soon as I did, her vitals fell. One of the doctors grabbed my hand and placed it back in hers, and she stabilized. I had no clue what was happening, but the focus was on Tess, so I just did as I was told. I sat holding her hand through surgery and in ICU. I had been sitting there holding her hand for probably 14 hours when the doctor that grabbed my hand came in and sat down with me.
Major Decker. Lieutenant Tess, all species have telepathic abilities. It is their way to bond with family members and share feelings. They do not communicate, but they sense emotions. Lieutenant Tess all has anchored herself to you, Major. We are not sure how. Humans do not have telepathic abilities, but her survival depends on you being with her until she is out of danger. At this critical stage, skin to skin is what she needs. I am going to say her life depends on you for the next 3 to 5 days. We are going to keep her in a chemically induced coma for this period, but she will know you are there through your link. Major Decker, she is alive because of you.
If I had truly understood the anchor, I would have been more reserved over the next few days. We never had much interaction with the Galactic specialists, but here I was for the first time, holding her hands, stroking her hair. I could see her face, her scarlet skin, her pointed ears, her short dark hair. She was so small laying there. She looked so helpless, and if all I was being asked to do was hold her hand and comfort her, I would. Whenever I had to let go for a bathroom break or to eat, I felt unsettled. There was tranquility that came over us when we were close. After 5 days, her vitals held when I let go. She was out of danger. The doctor said constant contact was no longer necessary, but if I could stop in for a few hours a day, it would help. I did. On day 10, when I got to the hospital, I found that Tess was being transported to her home world for continued healing and therapy. Those were our last few hours together. She was still in an induced coma. As I sat on the edge of her bed, holding her hand, stroking her hair, and massaging around her ears, I cried. I did not say a word. I just cried. Tess was on her way home, and I needed to get my focus back. We still had work to do. But ever since she departed, I felt incomplete. Not quite whole. The rest of the trip was non-eventful. We arrived at the Galactic Council headquarters as planned. We checked in with the Terran Diplomatic Corps and got assigned quarters. I messaged Admiral Zeiler for a meeting. Got scheduled for the next day.
Nice to see you again, Thomas. You too, Sergeant Wyatt.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Talon. Congratulations on your promotion to Admiral, and thank you for the glowing report to the Council.
You as well, Thomas. It is well deserved. What your forces did in support of the mission was well beyond any expectations. We would not have succeeded to the extent we did without your vision, dedication, and leadership. You and your Rangers. It made quite an impression on the Council. I am sure our mission saved many lives and quickened our victory. It is appropriate that you be recognized. Both of you.
Talon, have you heard any news about Tess?
No, the Crimson Alliance is a small civilization and keep to themselves. You saved her life, Thomas. I have heard more than once that your ability to anchor her was life-saving.
I really do not understand the whole anchor thing, but I am grateful for it.
I hope you do not mind. I reached out to their ambassador inquiring about Lieutenant Tess. He has promised to do so, and you have a meeting with him in 2 days. 11 of our specialists were Crimson members and all 11 returned to their home world. Their government is very impressed with your Rangers and their dedication.
Thank you, Talon. I appreciate you.
Thomas, your address to the Galactic Council is of great importance to the relationship with your Terran home world. The Council has often listened to your Ambassador Chen, but you are the first Terran to be decorated and there is great anticipation of your address.
I have a meeting tomorrow with the Ambassador to discuss the ceremony.
I am sure you will do well, my friend. Would the two of you join me for this evening's meal?
We would be honored.
I must get going. I have a full schedule for the next few days myself, but if you need anything let me know. And Thomas, I hope you and Lieutenant Tess all find your path together.
I'm not sure where our paths lie, but I'm going to find out. We will see you this evening. Let's take our leave.
Go in peace, my friends.
The next morning, Bill and I met Ambassador Chen. It amazes me how Chen always make an appearance in these tales, so why should this one be any different? As we were escorted into Ambassador Chen's office, he rose.
Lieutenant Colonel Decker, First Sergeant Wyatt, welcome.
Ambassador Chen.
William, please.
William, I am Thomas, and may I introduce Bill, a.k.a. Sergeant Wyatt.
Ambassador.
Gentlemen, you made great time getting here.
We caught a ride on a military supply transport, Ambassador.
Thomas, there is great interest in your acceptance speech, and I have been told I need to make sure it is appropriate for the Council, but I am not going to. You too lived this, and I do not want the Council to hear another well-crafted diplomatic speech. I want them to hear the truth however you decide to tell it.
Thank you, William.
Have you had any thoughts on what you want to say?
A few, but not completely.
Well, if I may be of any guidance, let me know, but honestly, I would like to be as surprised as everyone else. The Council has always had reservations with our relationship. The sacrifice of your team has raised interest. Your acceptance speech can go a long way in bringing us closer as allies.
I plan on my comments being truthful, to the point, and short, William.
Thomas, a single drop of water can be more powerful than a running river. That is all I will advise. I understand you have an appointment with the Crimson Nation's ambassador tomorrow. I take it this is about Lieutenant Tess.
Yes, I have some unfinished personal business to attend to. I feel like a game show contestant. Seems everyone knows our story.
Your story is well documented, so you are correct. Everybody knows. Everyone is watching with great interest, Thomas.
Thank you, William.
I have arranged a tour of Galactic headquarters and the surrounding area for the two of you this afternoon. Everyone wants to meet and greet you too, and I figured this was a way for you both to get out and about while having an excuse to keep from getting into question and answer sessions all day. In 2 days, we will be meeting with the Council directors. Then politics commences. Gentlemen, have a pleasant afternoon.
And that's exactly what Bill and I did the rest of the day. Our translators got quite a workout. Everyone knew us and our story. Everyone had questions. Our escort helped in guiding conversations and kept us moving. By the end of the day, we were talked out, but we got through without causing any political missteps. That evening, we sat with Admiral Zeiler for a relaxing evening meal and conversations other than strategy for the first time. It was refreshing. Bill and I spent the next morning putting together our dress uniforms. Now I realize why we like fatigues over spit and polish. Aligning insignias and awards took forever. After lunch, we headed towards the Crimson Nation's embassy. We were directed to Ambassador Keelan's office. Ambassador Keelan, I am Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Decker, and this is First Sergeant Bill Wyatt.
Welcome, gentlemen. Please have a seat. Lieutenant Colonel Decker and First Sergeant Wyatt, it is an honor to meet you. Thomas, you are known to everyone on our planet. The Terran anchor. Admiral Zyler reached out to me a few days about granting you an audience. Would I be correct in believing this is about Princess Tessal?
Princess.
Lieutenant Tessal is the third daughter of the lower noble house of Tessal. Her rank was because of her noble standing. Her noble status has little importance to our conversation. Our parliamentary government replaced the noble houses as far as leadership. They are historical honorary titles.
I have several questions, but yes, Tess is why I am here.
I will answer the best I can.
Can you please explain to me about your telepathic abilities and what an anchor is? I really do not understand what happened between Tess and I.
Our species has the ability to feel emotions between each other. Normally family, mates, and sometimes close friends. We do not communicate by thought. It allows us to share feelings and solidifies content among our kind. Sometimes it is a blessing and sometimes a curse. It is like having a built-in lie detector with those we are close to.
And the anchor thing?
An anchor happens when someone is in great distress or facing death. It allows the person to draw healing strength from the anchor, and in the case of death, it calms the passing by allowing presence of the anchor to the dying. May I ask how long you anchored to the princess?
I held her hand for 5 days consecutively before she stabilized, and then 4 nights before she was transported home for rehab.
What emotions did you feel?
No emotions. When I was holding her hand, I felt tingling, warmth, connection, like a small electrical shock. No real effect other than that. However, when Tess was hit, I felt it. Every blow. Her pain, her fear, and I knew exactly where she was. I knew I had to get to her and quick.
As far as I know, you are the first outside of our species to share this link. Even though you had no emotional exchange, there is a good chance that Princess Tessal absorbed every thought you had for those 10 days. She was drawing your emotions as well as your strength. When Admiral Zyler reached out, I sent an inquiry home about the princess. I have not heard back. I will reach out to you as soon as I get a reply. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Ambassador Keelan, I would like to request passage to planet Mira and a visit with Tess. Tess and I need closure. This is a personal request, Ambassador. Please.
I will forward your request. Lieutenant Colonel Decker, Sergeant Wyatt, thank you for all you did to bring this war to an end, and thank you for returning all our citizens. We are not warriors, but had the skill required to gather information. Our people are forever indebted to you.
Ambassador, we are grateful for your people's courage and dedication. Take care of your veterans. Scars of war can be mental as well as physical, and they have seen a lot. Bill and I departed.
Thomas, your girlfriend, is a princess.
Shut up, Bill.
That's okay. I have a report to write to the Admiral.
Our 3 days of recon were over. For the next 2 days, we became the Galactic Council's favorite dog and pony show. Meetings, events, and dining filled our time. On the 3rd day came the council assembly. As Bill and I put on our uniforms for the council presentation, I got a message from Ambassador Keelan. He asked if we could meet the next morning at 0900 Galactic time, as today was full of ceremony. I replied, absolutely. Now I was going to be on pins and needles all day long. The president of the Galactic Alliance and a few other high-ranking dignitaries took the stage along with me and First Sergeant Wyatt. After the key speakers, including Admiral Zyler, made their presentations, then the Galactic Alliance president stepped to the podium.
Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Decker, would you please step forward?
1, 2, 3 paces, attention, with a slight bend at the knees.
It is my honor to bestow upon you the Order of Galactic Protector. The citation reads, "Be it known that Terran Federation Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Decker be ordained into the Order of Galactic Protectors. Under his command, the Terran Rangers and Galactic Specialist put together a combined task force that saved lives on a planetary scale and brought a quicker end to the conflict. Under his planning, execution, and leadership on the field of battle, he brought victory to our forces. Be it known to all galactic citizens, Heroes walk among us.
After an appropriate amount of applause, Council President Vasilieva continued.
Lieutenant Colonel Decker, a few words, please.
I stepped forward, closed my eyes for a second. As the medicine bag stilled against my chest, my pulse slowed. I opened my eyes. Council President Vasilieva, Galactic Council members, Galactic citizens, and honored dignitaries and guests. I stand before you, a humble Terran Ranger. I was honored to command 100 of the best Terran Rangers and Galactic Specialists, along with First Sergeant Wyatt, who has been my right hand and stood beside me in a mission with little hope of success. We succeeded in all but 7 missions because of sacrifices made by the Galactic and Terran members. 7 Terran Rangers and 7 Galactic Specialists fell together as a team. 25 Terran Rangers sacrificed themselves so their galactic counterparts could complete their missions. All knew the risk of participating in this assignment, and it was because of their commitment we succeeded. Let us pray the peace purchased with their blood holds true. Let us honor their sacrifice this evening. Hold this peace as sacred as the blood spilled to attain it. Thank you for this honor. For a moment, I stood in silence, and then the applause built slowly and respectfully. Galactic Council President Vasilieva stepped back to the mic as I fell back beside Bill, slowly bowing.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Decker. Please accept this medal and welcome to the Order of Galactic Protectors. First Sergeant Wyatt, thank you for your service.
The rest of the evening was dining and dancing with a round medal on a 2-inch ribbon around my neck. Between figuring out which appendage to shake and which I to look into, it was just a wonderful evening. Bill found the bar as he was not in demand, and he was enjoying watching me suffer. I floated around the room with Ambassador Chun. He was making sure I did a meet and greet with all the appropriate dignitaries. I knew it was time to leave when I had to excuse myself to the bathroom, and found myself looking at the wall reading Kilroy was here on the wall. Time to find First Sergeant Wyatt and call it a night.
Nice boat anchor, sir.
Shut up, Bill. Morning comes at 0500 with or without sleep. After Bill and I worked out and grabbed breakfast, we both decided we were done with stiff collars and chose to give our new Terran uniforms a try. They were comfortable. We would blend in well. Bill sent a message to the Admiral. At 0900 we sat in the office of Ambassador Keelan.
Welcome and congratulations to you both. Lieutenant Colonel Decker, your words were touching. Thank you for sharing your point of view with the galaxy. I think we saw the human side of the Terran race.
Thank you, Ambassador. I am humbled to be honored in such a way.
Thomas, your request is not as simple as I had hoped. When Princess Tess returned home, she requested solitude and was sent to a sanctuary. She has been there since her return. It is not impossible to visit her, but you will have to represent yourself to the Mirror Sanctuary Director. She will ask your intent and what you hope to accomplish. She will determine if you are granted permission based on your answers. Her word is final, Thomas. Sergeant Wyatt, I am sorry, but you will not be allowed to accompany Lieutenant Colonel Decker.
I understand, Ambassador. I will remain here until Lieutenant Colonel reports back.
Thank you for your understanding, Sergeant Wyatt. Thomas, I have been authorized to offer my personal jump ship for your journey.
You are more than generous, Ambassador.
Think nothing of it. Those were my orders. Huh.
I need to check with Ambassador Chun. There may be other duties we need to complete before I can depart.
Just let me know. I will have the ship prepared for departure.
We met with Ambassador Chun. He was grateful for the opportunity to show us off and complete protocols for one more day. I messaged Ambassador Keelan that I could be ready to go the day after tomorrow. On my final morning, Bill and I woke up at 0500. Worked out, got cleaned up, had breakfast, and returned to our quarters. Bill.
Yes, sir.
I have my uniforms, awards, and citations stowed away in my travel trunk. Will you watch over them till my return?
Yes, sir, you and Tess, sir.
I'm only taking my duffel. We walked and talked of old times. Outside of the Crimson Embassy, Bill stopped walking, turned, and looked into my eyes.
It has been an honor to serve with you, Thomas.
Thank you, you as well, Bill. That was hell.
Thomas, every step we have taken on this journey has felt like destiny. Go fulfill it and get Tess. And Thomas, I still have an admiral to report to. Message me once you and Tess are together.
We embraced. I promised. We parted. I was now on my own. The ambassador's assistant met me at the entrance of the embassy and took me to a waiting room full of Crimson Alliance memorabilia. It was full of their history. You can tell it was made for tours, but it was educational and intriguing. Ambassador Keelan met me there and took me through the historical highlights.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Ambassador, my name is Thomas, please.
Thomas, are you ready to start your journey?
Absolutely, Ambassador.
The jump ship is ready to go at the spaceport. Let's get you to the shuttle.
On our walk to the shuttle, Ambassador Keelan stilled for a moment.
Thomas, the Sanctuary Director, is a fair woman, but do not be fooled by thinking she is asking simple questions. Many times, that is where truth lies, and in their presence you are always being tested. I have notified the Sanctuary Director's office you are coming, but you must request an appointment in person at the Sanctuary office in the capital. To my people, what you are asking is rarely granted. The formality will be ritualistic, but the Sanctuary is a place for those seeking solitude and healing. Communication to one in such a state is guarded, as they are vulnerable. Follow your human heart. If it is true, it will lead you to the princess. You are her anchor, are you not?
Yes, Ambassador. I am her anchor. Thank you for all you have done. After the shuttle ride to the spaceport, I boarded the jump ship and settled in. This was riding in style. As the jump ship reached its FTL coordinates, I was just relaxing, listening, and beginning to meditate. I was on the last leg of this journey. I needed my center. I needed my calm. As I stepped out into the atmosphere of this new world, I could taste the copper in the air. Gravity was light. Darkness was falling. I was met by an escort that took me to my quarters. I dropped my bag and dropped on the bed and quickly fell asleep. I dreamed of Tess. It was like I could almost. A knock on the door told me an escort had returned. You may enter.
Lieutenant Colonel Decker, I am your escort. I am Cadet Tyrell.
Welcome. You may call me Thomas.
Sorry, you are the first Terran I have ever met. First to visit Mira. I have been requested to ask if you would join the leaders of our parliament for their morning meal.
I would be delighted, as long as you can join me, and I will get to the Sanctuary's office as soon as possible.
If the parliament is having a morning meal for you, there is a good chance the director will be among them. The Sanctuary Director's office is on the Capitol grounds. Ambassador Keelan messaged ahead. You have an appointment after the midday meal.
Cadet Tyrell, are you going to be my escort for the duration of my visit?
I have not gotten such a directive. I was asked to bring you to the capital, and that is all.
Would you be willing to be my escort for the duration of my visit? As you said, I am the first Terran here, and I would like someone by my side that will keep me from offending anyone.
It would be an honor, sir.
Cadet Tyrell, I want you to have this.
What is it?
It is a special team's challenge coin. It is unit I commanded, and Lieutenant Tess, as well as 10 other Crimson Alliance citizens, were members of. It is what has brought us here today.
It's beautiful. I will cherish it. Thank you very much.
Cadet Tyrell, I would appreciate it if you would document my visit. Can you do that? I'm going to need help understanding some of the things I see. This is my first time in Mira. I want to understand it as you do.
I will do my best, Thomas.
Let's go see your direct supervisor and arrange your assignment. Then we will have morning meal with the Parliament. As we enter the Capitol grounds, we stop by Tyrell's supervisor's office. He was more than agreeable. Cadet Tyrell then took us to morning meal. As we entered the dining chamber, I informed the host that Tyrell would be joining me. There was a group of maybe 20 other people. There was a short meet and greet, then breakfast. The Sanctuary Director was there. I made an impromptu statement. Then we went to meet with the heads of Parliament. As we entered the Parliament Council room, I informed them Cadet Tyrell would be joining us at my table. A couple hours later, I thanked everyone for their hospitality and then informed them I had a midday meal engagement.
Thomas, who are your midday meal arrangements?
You. I'm not going to sit down and just talk. I would like to have a normal conversation with someone that I have no agendas with. Your choice of location, and I am buying. I would like you to tell me about your world and your people. I would like to hear what you have heard about me and my people. I would like you to educate me on how common your telepathic abilities are among your people and what you know about being an anchor. Cadet Tyrell, I just want to understand what I'm dealing with. For the next 2 hours, we talked about everything under the merest sun. Tyrell was young, educated, and full of the hope that all youth have.
Thomas, it is time we head to the Sanctuary Director's office.
As we rose from our chairs, I took her hand. In surprise, she looked at me. I held on to it. I looked directly into her eyes and said, "Do you feel anything?"
No.
We laughed. It was a quick trip to the Sanctuary Director's office. We took our seats.
Lieutenant Colonel Decker.
Yes, ma'am.
I am Director Delia. Please come in.
Be acceptable for her to join us.
Until it is not. She may enter.
We sat.
Lieutenant Colonel Decker, you have requested an audience with Princess Tess.
Director, please, my name is Thomas, and yes, I did and still do.
And what do you believe gives you this right?
I am her anchor. She was taken from me, and I question if my work is complete. I believe the princess still requires me.
Tell me about your anchor with her.
When Tess was hit, I felt it. Every blow, her pain, her fear. I knew exactly where she was. When I got there, she was laying in the undergrowth. She was unconscious and bleeding. As soon as I touched her, I knew she was in real trouble. I could feel it. I hit her with a nanite injection and used biofoam on the worst of the wounds to stop or slow the bleeding. I did not have to look for the wounds. I already knew where they were and how serious each was. I picked her up in my arms and started working my way for the nearest extraction point. I hit my extraction beacon for a stat removal. The medic on the transport got an IV started and started doing true triage. I never left her side. I sat there holding her hand during transport. When we arrived back at base, I carried her into the field hospital. They got the monitors connected. She was critical. As they were prepping her for surgery, I let go of her hand and stepped back. As soon as I did, her vitals fell. One of the doctors grabbed my hand and placed it back in hers, and she stabilized. I had no clue what was happening, but my focus was on Tess, so I just did as I was told. I stood there holding her hand through surgery and in ICU. She was still in an induced coma. After 5 days, her vitals held when I let go. She was out of danger. The doctor said constant contact was no longer necessary, but if I could stop in for a few hours a day, it would help. I did. On day 10, when I got to the hospital, I found that Tess was being transported here for further treatment and rehab. As I sat on the edge of her bed, holding her hand, stroking her hair, and massaging around her ears, I cried. I did not say a word. I just cried. After she was gone, I realized she has never even seen my face.
Thomas, would you allow me to do some telepathic probing?
Anything, ma'am.
Thomas, if you would take a moment and relax.
After a few minutes of meditation, I felt her fingertips cross my head, moving slowly. A while later, she removed her fingers and clasped my hand in hers. With one hand, she started moving her fingertips. They moved up my arm, over my shoulder, onto my chest and my center, just under, then over the medicine bag. She held the medicine bag in her hand and stopped for minutes. As I felt her pull away, I opened my eyes and met hers as she sat back in her chair.
Thomas Decker, you are the first Terran I have met. You are an interesting being. You have no telepathic abilities, but you have an entity, a spiritual aura, and it gives you a presence to our telepathic senses, a sense of your emotion. You wear an ancient spiritual amulet that protects your center.
Among my people, there are those known as Native Americans. There used to be many. Now there are few. I was fortunate to have a leader among them as my teacher. He knew what I was being asked to do and the toll it would take on me. He was too old to join in this war. He placed this bag around my neck to protect my peace of spirit.
For a gift as such to be given is an honor. Its power comes from acceptance. Cadet Tyrell, may I share connection with you?
Yes, Director.
They clasped hands for a few minutes. Then Director Delia smiled, opened her eyes, and looked at me.
Thomas, every crimson person you encounter is affected by your aura. Fortunately, your center is calm, so it translates to a peaceful aura. Even Cadet Tyrell shows emotions you are having, but are not displaying physically. Cadet Tyrell, I will be contacting your superior. You are being accepted for a position in my office.
Ma'am?
Would you like a position in sanctuary service in my office?
Yes, ma'am.
Consider Thomas Decker your first assignment.
Yes, ma'am.
Thomas Decker, I do not know how, but Princess Tess has already sensed you. Your reason for being here is true. I expect you to honor our customs along your path. You are her anchor, and I believe she needs you. I will pen a letter this evening to the superintendent of my decision. Cadet Tyrell will carry it as her official act on this trip. Both of you prepare. Your guide will be here on the rise of the second moon tomorrow evening.
On the rise of the second moon, our small party gathered outside the Capitol complex.
Basia, may I introduce Thomas Decker and Cadet Tyrell? Thomas Tyrell, may I introduce Basia? He will be your guide to the sanctuary. It is a half-an-eve's trek. You are in good hands.
Director Delia, thank you so much.
Thomas, she needs you. You are more to her than an anchor. May you two find your peace.
You will follow in single file behind me. We will stop for a couple breaks on the way. We will be there by morning meal.
As we settled into our rhythm, I marveled at the beauty in the light of the moons dancing across the landscape with shadows that were pale like ghosts. Mira has many arid areas, and we were in one of them. Traditional foot traffic outside the Capitol normally took place at night on the rise of the second moon. This gave a late evening light and moderate temperatures. The trek was a good stretch of the legs and a good time for thought. Time passed with hardly a word said. True to his words, we made 2 stops that offered cover. They were short stops. We made good time and arrived slightly ahead of schedule. The guards at the sanctuary entrance welcomed Basia as you would a good friend. Tyrell and I were escorted to a waiting room in the superintendent's office. 40 minutes later, Superintendent Vafura walked in the front door of her office. She stopped in front of us. We stood. Tyrell handed her the sealed letter from Director Delia.
Superintendent Vafura, I am Cadet Tyrell. Director Delia asked I deliver this.
Thank you, Tyrell. Let's step into my office and have a seat while I look at the director's thoughts.
Tyrell and I sat there as Superintendent Vafura read the letter and looked up.
Cadet Tyrell, welcome to the Sanctuary Service. Thomas Decker, it is so nice to meet you. I must inform you, a few days ago, Princess Tess became more present. She started to be attentive. 2 hours ago, she was at my residence informing me that you were getting near, and we needed to make arrangements for a reception. I am now breaking traditions that have been practiced since the founding of this order for an anchor returning to his bond. Thomas and Tyrell, I expect the 2 of you to freshen up and meet me back here in my office mid-morning. Thomas, I expect your written statement to the princess when you return. Then we will go over the protocols for the meeting.
The stop in momentum was unexpected, but once people settled and I found myself in a shower with cool water running over my body, I appreciated Vafura's wisdom. Tyrell and I met up for morning meal. The only thing I have missed on this planet was the lack of coffee substitutes. On the other hand, I am not sure if this culture and stimulants would go good together. Mid-morning we were back in Vafura's office. I handed her my written statement. She studied it.
Thomas, Tyrell, we are going to the Chapel of Clarity. There will be a triangle on the floor with circles at each point and a 4th circle in the center. Thomas, you will enter 1 circle. Tyrell, you will stand with me. The escort will place the princess in the center and take her place. You may speak your piece, and then the princess will decide. No matter what the case, we will discuss the outcome.
Yes, ma'am. Honestly, the whole experience feels spiritual. I am as peaceful at this point as I can remember.
Cadet Tyrell, would you tell my assistant to inform Princess Tessal's escort we are heading to the chapel?
Yes, ma'am.
When we arrived at the chapel, it was just as described. I took my place on one of the points. I looked at Tyrell and said, no matter what happens, to contact Ambassador Keelan, to contact Sergeant Wyatt with the outcome. Soon a veiled figure was escorted before me. Her escort made sure she was solid in place on the center circle. When everyone had stilled, Vafura nodded. I dropped to one knee, looked at her veiled face, and said, Princess Tessal, I am Thomas Decker. In war, I was your shield. In life, I am your anchor. My truth is, I am in love with you. I will wait for you. When you have found yourself, I will be waiting. And bowed my head. Before I could take another breath, I had arms around my neck, smothered by her closeness. As I rose, her arms stayed around my neck, and we embraced. Long and hard we embraced. In my ear I heard,
"My Thomas, my anchor, my love. Hold me. Just hold me. Please, I have missed you. I am incomplete without you. My love."
And I did.
Look, author, you cannot leave us hanging like this. I mean, really, there are two sides to every story. Plus, Thomas still has to meet Mom and Dad and my sisters. I hope you are working on part 2.
Mom, Dad, sisters.